Solomon, Thimothy, best-selling author, 10X guru, all the way from Naples, Florida, man. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Wes. Super excited for that conversation.
So, you're a real author, right? Not one of these bestseller from 1:15 a.m. to 1:17
Oh, yeah.
a.m. in the left-handed alpaca grooming subcategory, right? I mean, USA
Hey.
Today, Wall Street Journal. So, man, it's good to speak to a real human that's not just gaming the system.
Yeah, no, that was fun that you said that. You know how many authors are just got hurt right now, Wes?
Dude, hey,
Amazon bestsellers.
I don't sugarcoat stuff. I mean, I've written 2 books, but I self-published them, put them on Amazon, and and I
Yeah,
use them more as credibility pieces, as calling cards, as
right.
bonuses. I think I'm a damn good writer, written my whole life, and but I'm not going to say I'm a best-selling author when it's like, okay, yeah, because I've literally seen people do that, and
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm getting old. I'm jaded. Get off my lawn. All right. Stop lying to me. Just shoot straight and let's do some business. Why is that so hard today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think people just don't want to live with the fact that, they didn't get the bestseller status. So they'll go to they'll go to an expert, like you said, guru, and like have this crazy launch plan. So by 10 o'clock in the morning, if you sold 100 books, come on,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not a bad thing. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's ambitious. It's good.
I don't know. I think they're looking for something that really isn't all that impressive.
Right.
It's like it's great that they wrote something. The mere fact they wrote something, they should take pride in that,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah.
And so best-selling, an Amazon bestseller. It's not the same. And again, maybe I'm older, so being New York Times, Wall Street Journal, that carries a little more, what's the
Yeah.
word? Panache. I mean, a little
Yeah.
more gravitas. But it's like at the end of the day, the prospect doesn't really care what you've done. It's always what about me, right? What's in it for me?
Oh man,
You know,
WIIF.
how do you flip that around? Okay, you're an author. Great. How is that going to help me?
We're gonna have a lot of fun today, Wes. I can
Yeah.
already tell.
Yeah. So you've written a few, right? I mean, so what's going on? You've got the 10x.info. So I mean, we're linking out
Yeah,
to that.
10x.info. So I get on a lot of podcasts,
Yep.
and I love this because I love to share everything I know. This is like my passion. It's like, how do you give away as much as you possibly can? Because I'm more impact driven than I am just making a quick buck. Let's just be honest. We all want to grow, but I think the impact is so important. And so at the end of the podcast, the host like you would say, Salman, like, give me your website. Where do you want folks to go to? Well, I have a couple of different businesses. I'm like, which business am I going to give? Do I give the simple domain, the complicated one? And I said, I'm going to make a very simple domain name where I can have them watch like a free training on how to grow their business and how I help entrepreneurs grow. It's like a free training. And I said, you know what? That training was called 10X, your audience, your market. I said, I'm going to Google it. And obviously 10x.info was available. And I bought it. I said, at the end of the podcast, it'd be easier to give that domain name than to say
Yeah.
my last name, which is Thimothy with an H.
When you throw an H in there, it messes everything up, huh?
Yeah. I have done countless podcasts where I'm literally spelling out my last name. I'm like, this is the most terrible part of the podcast. I hope nobody listens.
Dude, hey, they misspell Schaefer. I mean, I spell it as long as possible. It's got a C, it's got an AE, it's got 2 Fs. I mean, people mess it up all the time. So
Yeah.
I get it. You got to make it simple, man.
Absolutely. So that's where the 10x comes from. But the idea behind it is that when we work with businesses primarily on their lead generation and customer acquisition, was that 80% of their investment is not working. And this is the common principle we talk about. We actually look at their dollars spent, and we could literally say like $10,000 on this campaign or $20,000 with that. They didn't generate any leads, didn't get any sales out of it. So we realized that a lot of time, what we end up doing is trying to save them from just doing that over and figuring out what is going to work. So we look at that 20% that works and how do we blow that thing up. That's it. That's our job. Like that's how we operate. So that's where all this exponential numbers and things of that is coming from. When you post on social media, most of the content is like low views. It's not one person that's having this issue. So how do we do it? And so I had made a training around that, and I taught them why we do the research of the content we create before we create the content, rather than make the content and figure out what to title it. Does that make sense? Which leads to poor views because nobody was looking for that. Like, nope, there's no algorithm saying, oh, show this. And so it's just helping entrepreneurs really figuring out how to get more leads and sales without working harder.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the quote, John Wanamaker, I think he was the founder of Woolworth back in the day. You know,
that's a good quote, by the way. I love that quote. I use that a lot. I'm
glad you know, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The problem is I don't know which half.
Amen.
You know, and that's he said that 100 years ago.
Absolutely. And I think it's not half anymore because of the fact that it's algorithm that is AI driven, or we're warming up the audience, or it's like, hey, it takes 3 to 6 months to get any results. Like, do you feel what I'm saying? Like, so people are spending tens of thousands of dollars in hopes for 3 months from now to do something. We like things measurable, and I'm sure you do too. And you're a sales podcast. If we don't close the deal, we got nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And but what does work now? Because I've had some cold email guys on the show, and that looked interesting 6 months or a year ago. I was brought on with a couple of clients in the last year that they were already doing it. You know, I didn't recommend that they do it. It was already in progress. I said, well, let's see if we can put some lipstick on this pig. Nothing came of it. And they tried 2 different firms and 2 different platforms, wasted 6 months, thousands of dollars. The whole idea of warming up emails, you know, to get around the algorithm and what Google's looking for. These guys making cold calls, they're changing their phone numbers every hour to make outbound calls. I mean, can we just go back to being human? Does that work nowadays, or do we still have to just figure out how to be sleazier and sleazier to stay ahead of the technology?
Yeah, I mean, we could. I talk a lot about outbound and inbound. We can chat both ways. Because like I said, I think a lot of people are doing one or the other or both. You know, and we're not opposed to it. We just really want to make sure that they're optimizing whatever it is they're doing. Typically, in inbound, we'll just talk with inbound because it's easy, right? You can go spend money with Zuckerberg. You're going to get some traffic. You're going to get some visits, and whether they're good leads or not, that's the problem. So it's not that Zuckerberg costs more, that people aren't willing to do it. It's what we're putting in the ad copy, in our message. Is it speaking to the pain? I mean, let's go back to the sales. Why would anybody buy something? Because they're not happy with their current reality. They have this reality of the future that's better. And along come you, right? You have a product or solution that looks like the least of path of resistance, right? Like it's an easy way to get to where I'm trying to go. You're going to give me that. If we don't speak to that in an ad copy, all we're saying is very basic, commoditized, sort of language. You're going to spend a lot of money on leads. And we just want to help our entrepreneurs and say, look, could we just nail down who we're speaking to? If we're talking to jewelry stores, be very upfront about it. And if we're speaking to entrepreneurs who hasn't even hit $1 million in sales yet, say, hey, if you haven't hit $1 million, pay attention, like you would say. And then you're only going to talk to the people that haven't hit $1 million. I'm not saying that's a good target or a niche, but at least you're speaking to the people that you want to talk to. So why cold email doesn't work is because of spray and pray. And of course, there's a lot of logistics and technicalities of email warm-ups, like you said, or verifying your email address or all of that stuff. I'm not going to go into that unless you want me to. That's not even it. It's that if I did get you the right person, what you're saying in the email is that even what they're going through right now? Could you even speak to their pain?
Right.
Because you know, and I know, being in sales for how many ever years that you've been in sales, there are more people that are frustrated that they can't get to their dream reality. Would you agree?
Sure.
Whether $1 million a month or 10 million, 100 million, whatever it is, not everybody's got a system that's well oiled. It is just, their pipeline is just gorgeous. They're crushing their quotas. Like, not every day. It's not all, like you said, in Naples, we have blue skies and rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like that every day. We got drought, right? We got other issues. Do you agree? Like, a customer said, you know what, we're going to put this off for 3 months from now. Or it says, hey, we're going to come back to this. Oh, we got our budget cut. So we got to figure out, how do we help our entrepreneurs, especially those that are, growth driven, ambitious, but they're technically challenged. They don't know what to do. How do we help them do that? So we just simplify things to us.
Yeah.
Forget about all the complexities. Like, hey, can we actually is there a need for your products and services? How do you make sure that you speak into that pain? It seems so simple, but you see most people don't do that.
They don't. I mean, most people in sales, I think, are terrible at sales, and most people in marketing, I think, are terrible at marketing. There's no people skills, and I think it's getting worse. I've got 5 kids. 4 of them are over the age of 20. 2 of my daughters, well, one son is in sales. 2 daughters are in serving at waitresses.
That's sales.
And they all do very well. We went to lunch at my daughter's restaurant last week for my wife's birthday. We were in San Diego, and several of the staff, because you know when a compliment is sincere when somebody goes out of their way to give it. Right. It's not because, you'll see somebody, hey, look at my baby. And you'll go, oh, what a cute outfit. It's like, okay, you got an ugly baby. Right? If somebody comes across a room and says, that's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen in my life, you probably have a beautiful baby. Right. So they come up, and my daughter, one of them has worked there for many years. My other daughter has been there for a year. And every time we go, it's like, oh my gosh, we love Sarah. Oh my gosh, we love Mary Claire. Y'all are great parents. Thank you for raising great children. And our meal was free.
Wow.
Right. So I'm like, okay, our kids must be doing okay. They must be decent human beings. I'm dealing with the guy right now. I am the HOA president. All right. So mow your lawn and paint your damn house, man. Get those stains off your concrete. All right? But anyway, I have this so we were driving out to the beach yesterday, and I'm telling my wife what was the conversation I was having with who is this guy? I'm pulling this up. He is the VP of marketing and business development. I'm the HOA of this. We have a $47,000 security system installed in our clubhouse and pool, remote monitoring, AI, the whole 9 yards.
That's nice.
And we're firing the vendor. We're firing the company that we had, and we're bringing on a new one to replace them. Well, this one company gave us bad information. Support said we could manage our own system. This individual, I'll leave him nameless, reaches out to me after several weeks of dealing with support and saying, we need to talk. Why do we need to talk? You can't do what you're doing. Who are you? Right. So we start talking, and I'm like, okay, they have a proprietary system. You have to go through an authorized dealer. All right. But he didn't say that. He said, you have to work with someone with these 2 licenses. So the new vendor that I have coming on board said, we have those 2 licenses. I said, okay, hey man, they have these licenses. He starts making things complicated. And I literally said, Greg, well, there's his first name. I said, are you in sales?
Right.
Like, this is the company that I want to use. Can you assist? Because we have a July 12th cutoff. I'm like, I need to make this happen by the 12th. That's when the contract expires on our vendor. Right. So he starts messaging me. He's throwing out some crap. He's ignoring. I'm CCing the new vendor we're bringing on. He misses that. Wow. He says, we need to talk to the decision maker. I'm like, crazy. You're dealing with the owner of the company. And check this. He tells me, step away. Put me in touch with the principal of the company. I don't want to cold call the owner. And I replied, what? So guess what I did this morning? I go online, because I am the sales whisperer, find the VP of operations, and I found a sales rep in another that covers another territory. And I said, can you help me? I do not want to deal with this guy. Please find me someone to deal with. This guy is in, this is the VP of the development and marketing, whatever his title is.
That's like two roles in one. VP of Sales and Business Development. Come on now. It's like,
right. But step away.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Have you ever told an existing customer, step away? But dude, this is so common. The pitches that I get, the emails, I get very few calls. The emails are terrible. The calls are terrible that I do get. The emails are terrible. The cold DMs.
Yeah.
It's universally
automated.
horrible.
It's automated. Unfortunately, they're not taking the time that they should to create you a custom Bloom video telling you, Wes, that, you would get more, you would get more sales if you do this, and I'm not sure if we're the right fit.
Oh, but Tom, that doesn't scale. I gotta have 10,000 touches a month.
Right, but 10,000 touches that yield no results, like the back to the 80% of what they're doing isn't working. It's the 20% that is working, which is like you said. I think the reason is that when we realize that LinkedIn lets you have 30,000 friends, you want to have 30,000 fans. Do you see what I'm saying? Or 30,000 connections.
Do they have a limit?
Yeah, they do have a limit. I don't know if that's changed, but it was 30,000. But it's just that our appetite is so large, so we automate anything we can, right? So now we're doing whatever, and you'll say, some people would say, look, I don't know anybody in my LinkedIn. It used to be a people connecting tool.
Yeah.
you connect with your coworkers, they introduce you to somebody, you go to a networking event, you met somebody, you connect on LinkedIn, you help them, made intros. Now I get 250 requests a day from people that I don't know, and they don't even say like, hey, I'm trying to grow my not even know now messages.
Yeah.
It's
dude, I got so many. I did something about 6 months ago that just shut down the invitations.
Oh, good.
And I'm loving it. Now I get just a handful. Most of them are still fake, and I ignore them. But at least it's manageable. I can find the real ones through. I can find the needle in the haystack now.
I know. I mean, I think it's the challenge is that we are forced to kind of do high volume and low quality in hopes of finding that needle. And I just really feel that if we took the time to do the unscalable things, like you said, you get absolutely no calls, but nobody wants to call. But I would call you. If I didn't get you, and if I knew it was a phone number, I would text you and say, I don't know if you feel like that. I'm like, hey, I'm Solomon. Just want to introduce myself. Not sure if you're a good fit. And I did some research. I thought we should talk. It doesn't hurt. Now, do I have the time to do that? I don't. However, if I was a salesperson and I was given a quota of whatever much, per month or quarter, I would look at ways to connect with 5 people. And here's another thing, by the way, and I love this. You probably agree with me. Is that I don't want to connect with them so that I'm going to sell them. I want to connect with them. Maybe there's somebody that they know that may need my products or services. It's just like that guy who is the $40,000 whatever technology. What about all your friends that live in different communities where you know that this could be good? Had he played his game right, you would have given him referrals. I mean, of course, we're never going to do that now. But he burned it. Going back to people skills, right? Like, it's like I said, I don't know if there is such a thing called sales training anymore at organizations, because you can't teach a sales guy how to sell, with a one seminar you give once a year.
Yeah.
This is something that you have to have some reinforcement. I'm lucky to say that we do that every Monday for our customers. Like, I teach, because I can generate all the leads in the world, Wes. If that salesperson acts like that, I'm going to look like a bad guy, because they say we didn't close any sales. Solomon, thank you for your hard work.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. You got me cheaper leads than before, but we're not closing any deals.
Yeah.
So we get those guys on a call, and then we start going over bonding and rapport building and asking questions and addressing issues and linking emotions. And does that make sense? Like the very base, asking permission before you ask a question. Things we think people should know, but it's not taught anymore.
Yeah. It's not taught. Dude, that's why I started this business 2006. I'd gone through so much turmoil being in high tech and the turnover after the .com implosion. But I don't think I ever had really sales training. I had product training. Actually, I had sales training when I was selling mobile homes, and I would still be in that business making $1 million a year if the company didn't go bankrupt because they were cooking the books. But we had a detailed system that worked. My very first year in 98, 99, I sold 52 trailers in 52 weeks, made exactly $100,000 in Mobile, Alabama, right? 25 years ago. That's like 175 grand a day. No cell phone, no
Connect,
no email,
shaking hands,
kissing babies.
one at a time. Right.
January 99, I made $20,000 25 years ago selling trailers. But that was like literally the only sales training I had. Now, others would say we had sales training, but it was really product training.
Right. I agree.
You know,
that's true.
Here's the widget. Here's the speeds and fees. Here's what the blinky blue lights mean. Go get them. Like, what do I say? Who do I sell this to? Why do they buy it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And I think it's still like that today.
Selling features and benefits is the easy way out, right? Yeah. If I don't know, somebody recently told me they went to a car dealership. The sales guy was like, just let me know if you like any cars, or if you like anything, just I'll be over here. I was like, really? This guy works on commission, by the way. He doesn't get a salary. And if this is how he's going to do it, I can tell you he's not going to make any money. Hey, look, I don't know about you, but if I work in that car dealership, man, I'm going to be the best salesperson because I'm not going to sell any car that I want to sell. I'm going to ask them. Question for you.
Well,
who is going to be?
I tell you what, it was maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago, we got one of those coupons in the mail to bring our Toyota in for an oil change. Nice. And it was like super low cost, right? So my wife's like super frugal and I love her for it. So she's like, hey, I'm going to drop it off. Can you pick me up? Right? I'm like, yep, I'll meet you there. So I love looking at cars. So I get there a little early. I hadn't been in a showroom in years. We don't buy that many cars. I walked into the showroom of Toyota, no showroom. And I'd been there before. It was all desks. They had no cars on the showroom floor. And that's fine. Inventory was tight for years. I get it. A friend of mine owns a Toyota dealership in Texas. They were super low, from 21 to 23. So I get it. But they embraced it so much that they put desks in the showroom. And they were so arrogant and bragging about how much they were selling over invoice. It's like, man, I have no sympathy for car salesmen anymore. It's like, you're going to reap what you sow, brother. So, I mean, that attitude, it's like, it's good to be in a good industry when times are good. Yeah. But if you don't keep in mind that trees don't grow to the sky, you're going to learn. You're going to be humbled, and I think it's starting to happen.
Yeah, I think it happened in real estate, right? With all the fees.
Not yet. I read that Austin is down, but I just read, average prices are up, historic highs. My son's in real estate. He's doing well.
The real estate Realtor Association, with all the different fees that they were charging, and it was basically price fixing and
yeah. That industry's ripe to be shaken up. It's
disrupted. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Talk about car salesman, dude. And I had a real estate license in Texas 20 something years ago.
Gotcha.
Realtors are really not any different than car salesmen. They just have better marketing. Look for the Circle R. We make dreams come true. It's like, y'all are commission salespeople, because when the deal goes sideways or somebody wants to start haggling, start messing with your commission, dude, the claws come out. It's like, what happened to the Circle R making my dream come true? You know, like, nope.
Hey, that should be a commercial right there.
Oh my gosh. So, but I mean, it just goes like so my son just got a listing in our neighborhood,
That's
and we
awesome.
live in a nice neighborhood. He grew up here. He's still like 4 years into the business, and he's got a baby face. He's just turned 26. He's got a baby face, but he
Nice.
knows his shit. And
Right.
these people were interviewing. They interviewed 4 agents. Matthew was by far the youngest. They went with him, you know, and
Wow.
he's getting it closed within 30 days. But they started giving him feedback on why they went with him. And these others, dude, they were rough. One guy was new. This was going to be like his first listing. But he's an older gentleman. I mean, he's been in business. Like, he could have conducted himself much better. And the other 2 were arrogant, kind of know-it-alls. You know, and Matthew was just a dude, just a human, just engaged with them. And,
Right.
you know, he knows his stuff. So I don't want people to think, oh, I just have to be nice. No, you have to be nice and knowledgeable. You got to bring value more than just, oh, I like you.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Expertise.
but 1 out of 4 were treated the prospects like humans.
Wow.
And that got him the sale.
Like I said, you know, I'm reminded of something one of my clients taught me a while ago. He was a really mid-market consumer brand. He said, I have a lot of salespeople, you know, like the department has filled with people. But he said, that doesn't mean we're making a lot of sales. I said, well, tell me more. Well, he said, look, Sam, there's 2 types of them. One is people in sales, and then there's salespeople.
Yeah.
He said, I have a lot of people in sales.
Yes.
But they don't sell because they don't know how to sell, right? They're order takers at best, like you said. If you come in and said, I need a Toyota Camry, red, you know, leather interior, they'll say, sure, it's whatever many thousand, you know, we have one in stock or whatnot. Like, that's it. There is no needs assessment. There is no, you know, finding the true reason why this is. Everybody's understanding the journey of what does perfect look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. That's what you did to sell trailer 50 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I appreciate like what you said about, you know, that one rep. Hey, just tell me if you see anything you like. I mean,
It's terrible.
that's like a bit extreme, like pretty bad.
Yeah, and I think you have active sales managers in these places that they shouldn't tolerate that kind of behavior. Because if you walked out of that dealership, I can guarantee you, Wes, you're not going to go back. You don't go
Oh
back.
yeah. But dude, everybody got so arrogant, you know, but that guy's on the extreme opposite of, hey, welcome. What can I get you today? You know, we're going to make a deal. This is a great time to make a deal. What's it going to take to get your business today? You like blue or red? Come on in. Like, okay.
Right. That
You know,
that doesn't work anymore.
and so the nonchalant guy, you know, I wouldn't be that nonchalant, but I would engage a little more relaxed. You know, hey, you know what you're looking for? You just browsing, you know, how can I help? Can I
Right.
point you towards something? You just need time to kind of kick the tires, you know. Yes, I'm just looking. I'm like, okay, I'll be right over here. Here's my card. Text me. You know,
Yeah.
if you find something you like, I'll open it up for you. And then get out of your hair. So I mean, but that
So
guy you interacted with was probably like almost arrogant, like, and good luck with that.
yeah, the reason I said that is in that kind of an environment, you're not going to sell if you didn't build rapport with the person.
Yes.
So if you know, you ever go to like Nordstrom or something, they ask you, did somebody help you with this? Like this shirt, a sweater, you know, because they want to put it in the system. And if you probably did get help, but like there was so little, you didn't even know their name. Like it wasn't like they took the time. It wasn't like your daughters at the restaurant. Let's be honest.
Well, it's like the whole
Right?
tipping thing, right? This is just going to ask you a few questions. They spin it around. Yeah, the few questions
Yeah.
are, what's the tip? Dude, right, last week we were in San Diego. We went to dinner.
Yeah.
A place my wife likes. Come to find out, brand new server.
Wow.
and it was horrible. My wife was a server in college. Now we've got, 2 daughters that are servers. We're pretty generous tippers. This was the first time I've given less than a 15% tip in,
Oh man.
I can't remember when. Gave the guy $5 on a $58 bill.
Oh boy.
So we were there so long, no refills on drinks, not once.
Jeez.
He brought the bill finally. Never came back. I didn't realize it's one of these new things, the QR code, so you can pay from your phone, right?
Yeah.
So there I am doing more work. But anyway, I got up to go find a manager. In the meantime, he walked back by, sees my wife, and the table's clear because the busser did a good job. And he goes, "Oh, your food should be out in just a minute."
What?
He didn't realize we had already eaten and had the table cleared.
My gosh.
So that's why he got $5, right? And so,
God.
but like this, this tipping culture, this everybody, oh, you should just be happy and honored that I'm even talking to you. Like, is that it? Do we just have to be human and we'll just kill and sell? Is that your 10x secret? Just be a human?
What my 10x secret is not to do what any of those people did, because we buy because we like and trust the person that we're talking to. Do you agree? Like, it goes down to that. And I always believe people buy from people. They don't buy from an organization. They don't buy from your company. You're going to have Microsoft as the logo. Microsoft doesn't sell me anything. I got to talk to Wes, my guy, my account manager, or my whatever account executive. And he needs to know that this is what I want. And he's going to help me figure out what it is. And he might help me save some money. You know what I mean? Like work some deal or promotion or that or the other. And then I'm going to be very happy with this. Like at the end of the day, that's human to human. It doesn't happen otherwise. You can't go just buy stuff from ChatGPT. It's not yet, at least.
Yeah.
You still need to talk to somebody, especially if you're an organization. You're not Amazon, just clicking around and buying, widgets. You need to talk to somebody. You go to the electrical supply store, you got to talk to a guy, even if it's as easy as retail. So I think it's core that we go back to like the real basics. It's like, that's why, what business do I have teaching sales? It's because we realize that we're in the customer acquisition game. Like that's our job, is to help them with leads and gain customers. And if I did so good, and by the way, the lead generation is the hardest part, like just trying to get one person interested in your price or service, like it's one of the hardest things, which is why you said they're terrible marketers earlier, is because they're not willing to do the hard work to get that one qualified lead. So I do that work, get a lead in the door. And then if you had a sleazy sales rep like we were talking about, they blew it, right? And they went into the competitor and they had a better system or a process in helping customers. I lose, my customer loses, the sales rep lost. So we're like, okay, we got to fix this, because it's not just us who is in the middle of this. There's us and the people on our client side. So we got to get Joe on a call to really understand, not only does Joe know what the products and services, does Joe know how to deal with people? And if he doesn't, what I do is I tell the CEO, Joe should be like a retention person, call your existing customer. Joe's not good to be the front line. You need a seasoned person like you. Like I was talking, like the way you would address that sales, in the car dealership, like, hey, here's my card, text me. I don't want to kind of like, be all over your hair. Totally fine. Or maybe they do want some more help, saying, hey, how much help do you really need from me? Do you want me to handhold you? I'm happy to. So figuring out that part, put them in the front line. If my customer who hires me for growth, right? Like I'm their trusted advisor, which by the way, that's what we should aspire to be. I have to do that so that I can have a long-term client, or else I get fired. Let's be honest, like marketing companies get fired. The sales guy still keeps the job because they don't know that he's bad. The company doesn't get the goals, right? Like they're looking for the next vendor when we're like, hey, look, I think we could fix this. It's a partnership. It's not a vendor relationship. I got to help Joe, the sales guy, if I want to help my client. That's kind of how we ended up with that.
How do you balance that though? Because it is sales and marketing are always at odds.
Yeah,
Um, and if you do a great job marketing, get them a bunch of leads, but the salespeople don't know how to close, um, somebody's got to point the finger. It goes back to Glenn Ross, right? The leads are shit. The leads are shit. Yeah, these leads are shit. Uh, so you get fired because you're the outsider.
yeah, of course.
How do you balance that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, when we work with a customer, we definitely have to have that conversation. Look, you could point fingers all day, but it doesn't get you where you're trying to go. It's either we work together or we don't work at all. How's that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And we're not here to point fingers at the sales department or salesmen pointing fingers to the marketing, because we're using a system that shows where the lead came from and what they entered on their form. And we want to show to the CEO or the leadership team that we reached out to them within this many minutes, if not hours, and this is what that conversation looked like, whether it was a qualified opportunity or not. I'm I'm being measured, or I'm measuring that entire process.
Right.
So for me, if they work, the sales guy works with us is for his best interest, so he can make more commissions and more money, and also hit his organization goals. And obviously, the CEO knows that there is a disconnect between marketing and sales. So they need somebody like me. And then, by the way, no marketing agency wants to do this because nobody wants to get all of this deep into people's businesses. But I do it because I can't truly grow a business without knowing really what's under the hood. What's
Yeah.
what's the problem, right? Because the lack of sales, and it's and I know, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of a deeper problem. And it doesn't mean that the website's not ranking or whatever, the obvious thing, or it's not that they're not sending cold emails or all this other stuff. It's that it's not working. That's the real problem. Whatever they're
Mm-hmm.
doing isn't working. And I think that's how we started this conversation. It's like, it's not working, and they know that, but they don't know how to fix it. Right? Like, so, and I think as salespeople, what they stop doing, by the way, and I think it's because we are just rushed. Customers have all the information today more than ever, so they come in and say, just give me this in blue. They stop diagnosing the problems. Do you agree? Like, nobody's doing that anymore because we're just mere order takers these days. It's like,
Right.
customer used to come in and say, I don't know what TV to get, and the Best Buy guy would have to ask a bunch of questions and find the right TV with whatever bells and whistles that they wanted, right? But
Yep.
today, because Amazon or whatever it is, there's not even a salesperson at Best Buy. There's nobody asking or diagnosing the problem. So I think that's why a lot of these B2B organizations are struggling, and we get it, and we can't fix everybody's problem, but the ones we do get in the weeds with, we try to go all the way to opportunity stage. At least I know I'm giving you qualified leads that turn into an opportunity in your CRM system. The rest, man, fight it out. Give them a discount. I don't know what you need to do. At least, you know what I mean? At least I'm not like, hey, I'm making the phone ring. It's not my problem that it's not closing.
Yeah. Um, are there too many layers and acronyms and tools nowadays? Because I'm working with a company right now, and they have a scheduling system, they have Go High Level, and they have Entreport.
Yeah,
And you know, I got to dive into all these to start helping streamline things. And it's like, okay, but I mean, and this is still a relatively small business. They do a lot of revenue, but um, I see like a mid-sized business. Golly, they'll have Salesforce. I've seen them. Companies have multiple CRMs. They'll have one for marketing, they'll have one for sales, because like maybe it doesn't have some kind of security setting that they think they need, and don't want to make work. So salespeople have leads. Operations have to copy and paste it into a different system. They'll have SDRs, they'll have BDRs, they'll have some kind of inside sales and an outside sales. I mean, 12 different people have to talk to a prospect before they actually talk to a salesperson that's going to get paid on this deal. I mean, it's just, and everywhere I look around, we are an ABM, we are a GTM, and I can't keep up with all the acronyms. Like, oh, you're a human, so you sell to humans the way humans want to buy. Oh, okay.
Oh
Well,
man, yeah.
let's
Then you
give
have
it an
AI.
acronym.
Yeah, you have AI analyzing our calls now.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean,
Right.
and that's fine to a degree, right? But it's like this guy I'm dealing with, Greg. I had to ask him, "Are you in sales?" Because like, dude, you're
Yeah,
preventing this sale.
I agree.
You know, um, it's like there's so much complexity. Do people feel like they can only add value if they bring a new system in?
Absolutely.
You,
I was gonna say, like,
yeah,
if we had a client like that, I mean, just my speaking from experience, I already know it's not gonna work. Like, I would just say, look, client, if you're not willing to kind of consolidate these tools, like, you don't have people to even go through these things. Like, that's number one. Resource, lack of resources. Uh, if you had like a go high level, for instance, you have calendar within it. Why do you need another calendar system? Like, number one, I read like redundant, right? Like, you have
yeah,
this and that, do all the same thing. And if we
yeah,
had a customer who didn't trust the sales CRM from the marketing CRM, I would say, well, how is this a freaking funnel? Because you and I know, and I have a funnel right here. I'll pull it out, Wes. You're gonna love me. I have a freaking funnel. That how is this gonna be one CRM and this is another CRM and that's like some other ERP system? Like, I want to see how many leads I brought you, what source I got those leads from, right? And did they turn into opportunity? I have to see the same thing your people are seeing. And if it's not gonna, if that's something they're gonna do, we're not the right guy for you. Like, go find somebody else. Not in a disrespect by any means. Like, I don't want to put my head into that into that stand because I couldn't fix it, right?
yep,
Like, you're too technical. That you got 6 systems, figure it out.
yeah.
No, you can't have single funnel with like you like that funnel. I know you do.
Funnels are
You
good.
gotta use props, man. You know.
I
Um,
I know. I like it.
I-
Uh,
so that's what I would tell. It's like, how is this a unified system if you have the same contact in 6 places? And by the way, we have clients that actually have to do that for inventory or whatever else. It's a pain in the butt to build a bridge between these systems to talk to
mm,
each other. So most systems go not talking to each other. Does that
yeah.
make sense? Most of them don't talk
Oh,
to each other.
I
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's brutal, but it's I was with a startup years ago, '04 to '07, and they fired the CEO after a while, and and then we called them the Bobs because they brought in this consultant like temp CEO, and then he brought in all these guru consultants from out of town, and so we called them the Bobs, and they would just it's like they had to change stuff just to change stuff just so they could
Wow.
basically pee on their territory and market. And then it wasn't long before I was gone out of there. I can't tolerate inefficiencies, meetings just for meetings. Um, but it. I think like it's so easy to start a new tool, and I have a whole process, like a process before login. It's like where I
Yeah.
sit down with people before they log in, right? Like build your grocery list. Don't go shopping hungry.
Oh
Don't go
yes.
browsing tools because you're desperate or you saw that Tony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey has it, so you're going to get it. Like, well, you're not Tony or Oprah, but they'll start these trials,
Yeah.
you
They charge your
know,
credit card.
and yeah, free trial. And then, they get suckered in like the Salesforce. Oh, just $15. Oh, well, that's not much. I can afford $15. And then they get once they're in, and they start throwing good money after bad because like, oh, you need that? Oh yeah, that's not in this bronze package. You gotta go to silver. Oh yeah, you gotta go to gold. Oh, you gotta next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're in, and you're stuck because these things they really are sticky. Um,
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of people, West. There's a huge opportunity for consultants like you. They all buy $10,000 subscription, thinking
mm,
that's the secret to get more sales.
mm,
I would love
yeah.
to be a tool company because at the end of the day, if you're a Salesforce or any top of the line CRM system with a great brand, what happens is that people buy because they know they need it, but what are they really buying? Their $1 million a month or a week or $10 million quota, whatever it is that they're trying to hit. They think this is what's going to happen. And and I know that doesn't make you any money, right? Other than overhead, it's a subscription, it's a liability. What you need is to have those conversations with qualified prospects who are in market for your products and services, not LinkedIn's, download everybody in a navigator that has the title and the industry and automate connection requests and hope that somebody there needs what you're doing. And so we made a formula. It's kind of what I think that your company that is selling you the video camera system needs is acquisition plus retention equals growth. We say that's our growth formula. It's acquiring customer, and you got to retain them. And so those kind of behaviors that you talked about, it's a huge retention red flag.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose them. You lose them. The organization is what's losing, not that guy. That guy doesn't lose anything because he feels like he has 27 more people like, that HOA that he could just sell to tomorrow. And all of a sudden, he's okay. But what he's really doing is that those HOAs never going to go back to them. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah.
And if you're a good salesperson, the best compliment you can get is what? A referral, right? Like that's the thing you learn in real estate. Like real estate people are struggling because they didn't do a good job. Then nobody want to refer them anything.
Yeah.
So like to me, we grew our business 99% off a referral. If it's a good fit, we work together. But if they just keep referring you because you did a good job. So I feel like that's what true sales is. Like I would go to a restaurant because your daughter works there and I love the people. Like I'll go there. When I don't know where to go, I go where I like. I guess that's your go-to. Yeah. Right? Like that's because of the rapport that you built and you like the people, you trust them. So you want to do work with them. A lot of people say, I don't give my cell phone number to your customers. My customers have, not all of them, but a lot of them do. And the reason I say that is they don't ever call me. That's the other thing. They know who to talk to in our company, not to call me. But it's the trust. Yeah. It's that if something goes wrong, they can get a hold of the CEO and they know the CEO is going to go and fix it, whatever, right? Like I think that's what it really comes down to, not spraying and praying 2,700 connection requests. And then as soon as you accept it, hey.
The pitch.
Hey, do you have this problem? You're like, unsubscribe.
So what is working today? How are you finding people? Because, Google changed the rules, right? Apple's changing the rules. As a consumer, I appreciate it. Give me some options.
Privacy.
Maybe I'm a little harder to reach, but how are you reaching people?
Yeah. And going back to that growth formula, which is what I usually share on these podcasts because so many people struggle to grow. And inside acquisition side, this acquisition plus retention growth, that's growth formula for us. And inside acquisition, there's two ways to close customers, two ways to grow. One is we create demand for our products and services, which is what you do. You got a podcast, you have videos, you have content. You're creating demand so people know that you know the stuff and they're going to come to you. And then the other piece that we try to do, Wes, is that we want to capture the demand in the marketplace. Those are like the 5% of the people that are in market right now trying to solve that problem, right? They're actually the company like you looking for a AI or whatever video system for your community. And so for us, we do two things at the same time. We do any and all kind of content creation to create demand, which is that 95% of the market that is not right now even in need of your solution. I just want to create enough content when you come looking for me, I'm going to be there. That's the 10x that info. You know what I mean? I'm going to put so many feeders out there that I'm going to keep the competition as far away as possible. That's working. You know that, and I know that. That's why you have a podcast. The second piece is the more expensive piece because that's you capturing the demand. That's you searching and you making sure that your ad shows up. That is you getting found on YouTube if somebody searches for that thing that they're looking to fix, which is sales in your case or whatever your clients do. And so we're constantly evaluating what do we need to do to capture demand? What do we need to do to create demand? And we push all of that data into a CRM, right? Like leads coming in or whatever else, whatever marketing is working. And then on the retention side, we got to retain these leads so that they don't go buy from your competition. And we want to retain the customers. Does that make sense? It's like that's the part that they truly didn't get. They put you in talk to the DM, put the decision maker DM, in touch, or I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's a terrible retention strategy. And so we do that, like I said, that was the funnel example, is that whatever CRM system it is, HubSpot, Salesforce, you name it, we're in it and we're tagging all the people based on their job titles and the size of the company and the industry, creating appropriate content so we can nurture the lead so they don't fall off. Occasional call from the sales rep, depending on that. And it's not a sales call. It's like just checking in to make sure you don't have any questions, or I noticed that you downloaded this resource. Is it worth the conversation? Or is it further down the line that you want to have that? Hey, you want to make sure that you're there for them should they need help, kind of like your car sales approach. And then the customers, that's your most valuable asset. And most people don't market to their customers. They just sort of think that you got the customers, so you know how to do nothing, right? You just, Molly's got this. Does that make sense? Our customer service is great. What if they're getting pitched constantly, which they are? What if there are people saying I could do it for half the price? What if they're saying like AI can do it? What if you didn't do anything? What happens? You lose a client, then you put pressure on your sales department, your marketing. It's because they don't have both of this thing working. Wes, this is like literally the meat and potatoes of what we do, right? This is precisely what we do. And that's why I say I got to have one system. I can't have 6 systems. If we do, we got to synchronize it so we can see what campaigns are creating demand, what campaign is built to capture demand, what are we doing to nurture these people. When I see nurture, which is salespeople don't even, like average amateur salespeople don't know what nurturing is. Like we are like parents, we nurture our kids, right? Like it's a nurturing parents. Like not saying prospects are kids or whatever, is that they're going to go to you. Like you have to have that relationship that they can go to you when they need you. Mommy. Yeah. My kids always say mommy. Why? Mom, I was going to hug them and kiss them and do whatever. It's the same exact thing. And if you know that if you have a great relationship, it's because you had, like, we nurtured that relationship. You gave them a referral, right? Like even before you did anything, the first thing you did is like, hey, I know somebody you should connect with. Hey, quick question. What's going on over there? Out of curiosity, did you ever get that fixed? Man, like that's what sales is. Like you said.
Yeah.
It's the hard, unscalable part that no BDR can automate with 3 clicks and 7 touches and one template. It didn't work, right? And I think any like old school salespeople, look at Zig Ziglar or anybody, like they all had that down. Yeah. That's what they taught, right? They didn't have any magic. They didn't use AI. And today, because we have AI and we have all these tools, we feel like that's the way to go. And I'm not saying it's all old school or nothing, no technology. I use technology to find connection points so I can build better rapport. I use technology to look at, you know what I mean? Look at their site or whatever it is to find the issues. So should I find some pain points? Like maybe I can talk about this. I use ChatGPT to look at what does this industry have that is the biggest challenge. I use AI. I'm not saying I don't use AI, but I don't replace it with my sales process or teach it or do it for clients like that. Yeah. That works.
Yeah. You talk about creating content, but there's all the gurus out there now, come to my workshop, create, 2 years of content in 24 hours. And so, okay, great. So now there's a lot of content. Like it's noisier than ever, so how do you cut through all that clutter?
Absolutely. And I usually say this, content for the sake of creating content, it doesn't work. And you know that because more so than ever, organic content gets the least amount of reach. It's like it doesn't matter. You might as well not post. So a couple things is if you don't promote it, meaning if you don't put some ad money behind it, you're probably never going to get your best piece of content out. That's number one. What I say, good quality content, it's not even salesy, it's educational, nurturing content. The second thing that we usually educate is that we have a process around it. We take the keywords that our customers are trying to solve for whatever it is. Let's say it's a CRM implementation company. That's what they do. So when we Google that and when we compile all these keywords, we find these very specific questions that our customers or their customers are asking. And we don't make any content. We create those questions into content and nothing else. In fact, it is purely to answer those questions, because if you look at Google's is an answering question tool. You ask and gives you an answer. And it also gives you 10 more questions people are asking. So like, why aren't you and I creating those questions if that's your business, it's your line of business? Our customers aren't even aware that this is happening yet. They go to Google all day, check everything, but they don't
Yeah.
see that your customers are doing that, sir. And
Yeah.
if you don't answer those questions, Google doesn't have anything to put into those sections. So going back to what kind of content to create, I don't have that workshop, by the way, where you can come in and create 2 years, because this very thing is hard to do because the demand of our customers changes. The questions are changing. I want to create this month content. I don't care about next month. We'll do that next month,
Yeah.
right? I have like a 90-day window, but I'm not going to do a year worth of content because that's garbage. Like in the nicest way possible, it's not going to talk to the pain of our customers.
Yeah.
If it doesn't talk to the pain, I'm not going to get you any qualified lead. It's just more information, but no transformation. It's a very different podcast than usual, huh? Like, I mean, the
Yeah.
stuff that you and I are chatting with is like deep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want the superficial crap because that doesn't work,
Agree.
but people don't want to stick it out. So it's like yesterday I taught my first adult jujitsu class.
Nice.
Because the there was a little miscommunication, and the guy that usually does Tuesday was on vacation, and the owner just missed the memo. So
Oh, wow.
his
You
wife
had to
came
teach.
and unlocked the door, and I just happened to be the highest ranking dude. So like, okay, I guess I'm teaching class today.
Nice.
And it's
Leadership.
well, I mean, I was just the highest ranked. So the highest ranked dude usually teaches the class, and so I didn't have anything prepared. I'd never taught. I help with the kids class, but that's totally different uh, than adults. And so I just covered what to me, which is what is fundamental. But lo and behold, it was nuanced to everybody there. And then when we actually sparred, I was executing that move that I just taught. So even though they knew it was coming, right? It'd basically be like, hey man, look, I'm gonna jab you with my left, then I'm gonna throw a right cross, and I'm gonna come up with a left uppercut and knock you out. Here it comes. Ready? you know, and I
Wow.
still get it because in the move, there's so many little nuances, and some of it can't be taught. The because the fundamentals must be mastered, but
Mm,
then depending on how I'm feeling, how you're feeling, what part of the fight is it? Is it the beginning? Is it the middle? Is it the end? Are you 10 pounds heavier than my normal opponent? Are you 20 pounds lighter? Yeah, so all these things come into play
right.
that I have to adjust in the moment, adjust my weight, my balance, how to keep you pinned, how to secure the hand. But most people, you still have to practice the exact move. Because I see people all the time, because I follow these different channels, and somebody will demonstrate a move. There was literally last week a kid drilling, and it was a cool move. Super slick. Kids are flexible, pliable.
Right.
He's doing some crazy stuff. I would never be able to do it. I'm big, I'm stiff, I'm old. So, but people are ridiculing and critiquing this, and I'm like, do you criticize Tiger Woods for hitting some
Right.
bunker shots at the range? It's like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
practicing,
Yeah.
but people, they don't want to practice. They don't want to look foolish. How should we just go to AI and use computers? Because nobody wants
Yeah.
to stick it out.
Tell me about it. I, yeah, it's true, and I don't think that works, right? Like you wouldn't have gotten to where you are in jiu-jitsu as the number one guy if you hadn't done your
Well, I'm
day-to-day
not the
boring
number one
practice.
guy. Out of 10 people, I was just the highest ranked yesterday afternoon.
But you did your time, right? You put in your
Yeah,
effort.
I've put in the time. Yes.
That's precisely what we want people to do, and I think everybody wants that shortcut. That's a different podcast episode, believe it or not. And I know everybody says shortcut, shortcut, and in my world, some of these things there aren't any shortcut. You got to take
Yeah.
sales calls if you want to get better at sales. You also got to get sales trained. But the only way you're going to learn how to sell better is by practicing. And I write down like, hey, what could I have done better? Role plays. That's what we do in our sales calls, or recording the call and then checking it out. Like, what could I have done differently? Like, that's effort. That's Michael Jordan. That's what he had to do. He had to practice 600 shots for how many ever years, and he did it. Like That's
But
why he's
it's
world class.
boring. It's hard. I mean, I know. I agree. How do you keep people going? Because look, most people quit jujitsu.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I
I
wouldn't never
mean,
make it.
most people quit sales. Or they go look for an easier
Yeah,
job. They look where the leads are guaranteed. Whatever. I don't know. I mean, and people always say I hate role playing. I hated role playing when I was an employee because it was usually crap.
yeah,
People like my role playing because it's realistic. I take what they give me. I give them words and phrases that feel right because they're honest.
right.
They
Yeah,
come from a place of integrity. I'm really seeking to serve.
yeah.
But again, most people are bad at sales. Most people are bad at marketing. Just like nobody really has sales training, even fewer have sales manager training.
Oh yeah.
Right? Hey,
Leadership.
Solomon,
Yeah.
congratulations! You were #1 last year. We got an opening. You're now a manager. Go get them.
Oh yeah. Forget
What do
about it.
I
Now
do?
you're a coach. Now you're a coach. That's what you are.
Yeah,
You're
but
no
no
longer a sales.
training.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean,
You got to train on
very
your
few.
own.
Is it just the blind
Agree.
leading the blind?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't be a sales manager if you're the best salesperson because you're probably not going to be the best coach.
Yeah,
It's also a
but it
problem,
happens.
right?
It happens universally.
Yeah, I know, because you want to promote within. However, you probably got the wrong guy being the manager now, and all of them are going to learn all the bad behaviors. And then, it's yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate, but I'm with you that for me, like I said, it goes back to training. Um, you know, I think the reason why they don't want to do the hard work is also because they don't have a strong enough why, which I know doesn't sound like it's a cliche. However, look, uh, nobody has to tell me to show up to work. Nobody has to tell me that I got to work on my game. I do it. You know what I'm saying? And you do too, right? Like you, you, you're literally trying to fix somebody else's sales problem by asking the guy, like, dude, are you even in sales? Like, you want to help him. You're
Yeah.
helping the guy by asking the question, are you even sure you want to do this? Because I don't think you're the right guy, right? Like that's
So
starts from
here's a
within.
loaded question, but I mean I think you get into both. If
Yeah,
somebody had limited funds,
sure.
10 grand,
Yeah,
5 grand a month, whatever, pick a number. I mean, but not like millions, right? But a small
of course.
business, they've got a little
Millions.
extra. You know,
Yeah.
how do they decide? Like, do they spend it on tightening up their marketing, or do they spend it on tightening up their sales first?
Yeah, absolutely. So the growth formula is both sales and marketing, right? At the end of the day, they got to work on both. It's customer acquisition. So put it at that. It's customer acquisition. If you don't acquire a customer, we didn't win. So I would put that money towards capturing the demand of your products and services. So like if I was a car wash, I would worry about how do I tell the cars that are dirty that I'm the guy, right? Like I got to capture the demand. So if I'm at the corner, I put more signs or more whatever so that all of the cars that are going through that need my services, I just want them to pick me. Like that's like Google Ads, for instance. Like that information highway billboard is probably the most easiest low hanging fruit, as expensive as it might be, because your ad won't show unless they search for you, and it doesn't show unless they're physically located where you want them to be. It doesn't show when you're not picking up the phone. Do you see what I'm saying? You could turn it off at 5 or start at 9 a.m. and only for these specific keywords. Like I want to get that low hanging lead. That's what I would do. Not create demand, which is what marketing people do when they get hired. What do? They make some social media graphics and get some double taps so that someday somebody comes to us, right? Like in hopes that this post is going to make money in 2027.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I want today for today, which is how do we capture the demand? So that's if you ask me, that's what I would do, and then I'll work on my sales process.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Well, speaking of your sales process, we already mentioned your website, right? Where do you want people to go? What do you want them to do?
10x.info. Watch that training because it's literally good for B2C, B2B, any kind of organization. It's free. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam you. That's the other thing.
Yeah, famous
People,
last words, whatever, man.
yeah, people are afraid to put their contact information these days, and that should not be, Wes. That is like rule number one. Respect the people's inbox. And the reason
Yeah,
I
they
say that,
don't. I get so many spam texts. It's surprising. Every time,
oh
report is junk, report is delete and report is junk. they still come through. But like I don't mind the sell. It's easy to opt out. But I use Apple has the hide me email
Yeah.
functionality. I use that more times than I put my real stuff in.
Yeah, I agree. That's a killer for marketers because that
Yeah,
doesn't give me much information. But I'm with you. I understand why you have to use it. I get them too in our CRM.
yeah. So, but it's 10x .info, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be the
Okay.
best place. Check it out. Look, I'm always here to, as I said, I just give away as much information as I can. I got webinars and training all the time, so people can go fix, the hardest part, which is growing their acquisition and retention stuff. That's literally
Right.
what we talk
Yep. Yep. It's needed. Well, cool, man. Well, congrats on the book. Thanks for
about.
making time. It was good catching up. And, if you're tired of the humidity, just come to SoCal, man.
I will. I usually go for events, so next
All
time I'm
right.
in town, I'll hit you up.
You come to San Diego, let me know.
Absolutely.
So Solomon Timothy with 2 H's, right? I mean, they're split apart, but it's not just one H. They got to know how to spell your name, but TH Timothy.
TH.
So found you on LinkedIn. So I'm linking there. I'll link to your site, LinkedIn, your social media. But thanks for taking time to come on the show, man. It's been great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Buzz.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You too.